Okay, so get this. 20%. 20% of new businesses fail in the first 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a pretty scary statistic, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But don't worry, because today we're going to turn that fear into fuel. You've been doing a lot of research into why businesses fail.
I have, yeah.
And we're going to do a deep dive into all of that, learn from other people's mistakes so that we can figure out how to avoid them.
Exactly. We're going to give you a cheat sheet for business success.
I like that.
Yeah. We're going to break down this book called Why Businesses Fail: Prevention Strategies.
Okay.
And we're going to pull out all the most actionable insights to help you thrive.
I love it. All right. So the research that you've been looking at points to a lack of market research as a major culprit.
Yeah.
And I know I've definitely been guilty of this in the past, getting so caught up in an idea and just kind of diving in head first without truly understanding if there's even a market for it.
Right.
Have you ever felt that pull, listener?
Oh, it's such a common trap, right? You're passionate, you have this great idea, and you pour your heart and soul into it. And then, crickets.
Nobody wants it.
Exactly. And, the research highlights this, right? Like we said, 20% of new businesses fail within those first 2 years. And a lack of market research is so often the root cause.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine this.
Yeah.
Imagine you set up a gourmet pet food store in a town, but everybody in the town is really budget conscious about their pet food.
Oh, yeah. Big mismatch.
Total disaster, right?
Yeah.
So market research is all about preventing those mismatches.
So market research, it's about making sure there is an appetite for your product, so to speak.
Yeah.
But what does good market research actually look like?
So good market research, it's a multi-pronged approach, right?
Okay.
The first thing you have to do is figure out who your target audience is.
Okay.
And this isn't just demographics, right? Like how old they are and that sort of thing.
Right.
It's understanding their needs and their preferences and, their spending habits.
Their lifestyle.
Exactly. And you want to think about things like where they hang out online. What are their pain points? And there's some really cool research out there that suggests using online tools to estimate the size of your target audience in a specific area.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you could say, okay, how many people in a 5-mile radius of my business
Exactly.
would potentially want this product?
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two is you got to size up the competition.
Okay.
Right. So who else is trying to get the attention of your people? What are they doing well? What could they improve on? What's their pricing strategy? You don't want to just copy them, but it's so helpful to understand the landscape.
So you can kind of figure out, where do I fit in all of this?
Exactly. Where's your niche?
Speaking of standing out,
Yeah.
the research mentioned something called a USP.
Yes. Your USP.
What does that stand for?
It stands for your unique selling proposition.
Okay.
And this is what makes you different.
Okay.
It's your secret sauce. It's like, what do you offer that no one else does? Once you know who you're serving, you've looked at the competition, and you've nailed down that USP, you got to validate your idea, right? Is there even enough demand to sustain a business?
And that's where things get a little more technical, right?
Yeah.
How do you actually measure demand?
There are a few different methods that the research points to.
Okay.
So you can estimate your potential market share. You can look at different pricing models.
Okay.
Yeah. And it can be a little daunting,
Sure.
but those insights are invaluable, right?
Yeah.
And remember, it's ongoing. As you grow, as the market changes, you have to stay vigilant.
Right.
Keep gathering that data.
You've been checking your map on a road trip.
Exactly. You might need to change your route, right?
You might hit some traffic.
Exactly.
Take a detour.
Exactly. I
Recommend
like
it.
that. So now let's talk about something that's crucial for any business to survive: financial management.
Okay.
And the research is crystal clear on this one. Money is like oxygen for a business. Run out and you're in trouble.
Yeah, you can't survive without it.
Exactly.
But it's not just about making money, it's about managing it wisely, right?
Right.
What are some specific tips from the research that can help our listeners avoid financial pitfalls?
Okay. The authors of this book, they highlight a step that a lot of people skip,
Okay.
especially solopreneurs. Set up a separate business bank account
Okay.
and credit card from day one.
Got it.
Seems simple, but it's huge for maintaining clear records.
Right. So you don't have everything mixed together.
Exactly. And it can save you from legal headaches later on.
And I can see how mingling your personal and business finances would be like a nightmare come tax time.
Oh, yeah.
So separate accounts from the very beginning.
Absolutely.
What else? What else does the research recommend when it comes to financial management?
Okay. It boils down to 3 key practices, all right?
Right.
Budgeting,
Okay.
forecasting,
Okay.
and monitoring your cash flow. So budgeting, that's creating a plan for how you spend your money. Prioritize your spending. Make sure you've got enough for those essential costs.
Now, I struggle with budgeting even in my personal life. What makes budgeting for a business less intimidating?
The book really advocates for treating your business finances with the same seriousness that you'd apply to your personal finances.
Okay.
It's about being intentional,
Okay.
disciplined.
I like that.
Now, forecasting, on the other hand, that's about looking ahead,
Okay.
projecting that future income,
Got it.
those future expenses.
Okay.
So you can see any cash flow problems coming.
So you can be proactive rather than reactive.
Exactly. And then lastly, monitoring your cash flow.
Okay.
That means keeping an eye on your income and expenses in real time.
All right.
Track your sales, your invoices, your payments.
So you have like a really clear picture.
It's like your financial dashboard.
I like
It'll
that.
give you those red flags
Yeah.
before they become huge problems.
Yeah. Okay, so budgeting, forecasting, monitoring cash flow. Now, for somebody who's not a numbers person who maybe gets a little overwhelmed by all of this,
Yeah.
what do you recommend?
Don't be afraid to call in an expert.
Okay.
A financial advisor. They can be a lifesaver, honestly.
Yeah.
They can help you make those smart decisions.
It's like having a financial co-pilot on your entrepreneurial journey.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on. Let's
Okay.
talk about another potential pitfall. Lack of a strong business plan.
Okay, now when I hear the words business plan, I have to admit, just picture this like really stuffy formal document
Yeah.
that ends up gathering dust on a shelf somewhere.
Right.
Nobody looks at it, nobody uses it.
But that's such a misconception.
All right.
The research emphasizes that a good business plan, anything but boring. It's
Maybe-
dynamic. It's a living document.
Right.
It's a roadmap to success.
Got it.
It outlines your vision.
Got it.
It defines your goals.
All right.
And it maps out those strategies to get you there.
So it's not something you just write once and then forget about.
No. It evolves
Okay.
as your business does.
So you're constantly referring back to it, updating it.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. Speaking of the market, let's dive into another reason why businesses fail,
All right.
which is the inability to adapt.
Huge one.
The world is changing so fast,
That's so fast.
and businesses that are clinging to those outdated models,
Yeah.
they're often left behind.
Yeah.
So how do we cultivate that adaptability muscle? How do we become more flexible in our business?
Okay. The research suggests it's a combination of staying informed, embracing innovation, and being willing to pivot.
Okay, I like those 3 things.
So staying informed means keeping your finger on the pulse of your industry.
Okay.
So you're reading those publications, attending conferences, following thought leaders,
So it's like being a student of your field,
always learning.
always learning.
Yes. Embracing innovation means being open to new technologies,
Okay.
new ideas, new approaches. Don't be afraid to experiment.
Don't be afraid to take risks.
Exactly.
Right.
And then that last one, being willing to pivot.
Okay.
That means having the flexibility to change course when you need to.
I like that.
Think about Netflix,
Okay.
right? They switched from DVDs to streaming.
Yeah,
They could have become a dinosaur,
totally.
but they adapted.
Pivoted.
They thrived. So adaptability, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.
Exactly.
It's about using change to your advantage.
Okay, so we've covered a lot in this first part.
We have.
We've talked about market research, financial management, the importance of a strong business plan, and the need to be adaptable.
Yeah,
Those are some pretty crucial elements for business success.
absolutely.
Are you ready to delve a little deeper, listener?
Yes.
We'll be back in part 2
We will.
to uncover even more insights from why businesses fail.
See there.
All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into why businesses fail.
Yes, welcome back.
We've already uncovered some really critical insights from this book, why businesses fail, prevention strategies,
We have.
but there is so much more to learn.
There is. We've laid the groundwork, right? We've talked about market research,
Yeah.
financial management, the importance of a good business plan, and of course that need to be adaptable.
Absolutely.
But now it's time to delve into the human side of the equation,
Okay.
leadership and management.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, because businesses, right, at the end of the day, they're made of people.
They are.
And people are complex.
They are. This is where I think things get really interesting.
Yeah, it gets messy, right?
Yeah.
Because the research suggests that poor leadership, poor management, they're often silent killers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's not always like some big dramatic scandal or somebody being incompetent.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a lack of communication or like not knowing how to delegate properly or struggling to motivate your team.
Yeah, I can definitely see how those things, even though they seem small, they can kind of chip away at the foundation of a business over time.
Exactly, yeah.
So what does the research say about cultivating effective leadership?
Well, it emphasizes that leadership, right? It's not just one thing. It's a whole skill set.
Right.
It's multifaceted.
Okay.
But the good news is it can be developed.
Okay, I like that.
And they give a bunch of practical tips. So things like, seek out mentors.
Okay.
Attend workshops on leadership.
All right.
And maybe even just take some time to think about your own strengths and weaknesses as a leader.
Ooh, that self-awareness piece is so huge.
So important, yeah.
It's about being honest with yourself about where you excel.
Yeah.
And where you need to grow.
Absolutely. And also recognizing that good leadership, it doesn't mean you have all the answers.
Yeah.
It's more about creating a culture of trust and collaboration where everybody feels like they can contribute.
So it's about building a team.
Yes.
And fostering that sense of shared purpose.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Shared ownership.
I like that.
And the research also highlights, specific qualities that are crucial.
Okay.
So communication, that's a big one, right?
Communication is huge.
It's about being super clear, concise, transparent when you're talking to your team.
So everybody knows what's going on.
Exactly. What about delegation?
Oh, delegation. I know a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this, especially when they're first starting out.
They do, yeah. Especially in those early days, they want to do it all themselves.
Right, they want to control everything.
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to let go.
You have to.
So how do we get better at delegating?
Well, the research has some advice here.
Okay.
First of all, define the roles and responsibilities.
Okay.
Make sure everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Got it.
And then give them the support and resources they need to actually do it.
Don't just tell them to do it. Give them the tool.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then establish clear communication channels, right?
So they can come to you if they have questions.
Exactly. Set your team up for success.
Okay.
Trust them to deliver.
I like that. And that frees you up to kind of focus on like the bigger picture.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So we've talked about communication. We've talked about delegation. Now, speaking of bigger picture, that brings us to another common pitfall that the research points to. Ineffective marketing and branding.
Oh, such a big one.
Yeah.
Because you could have the best product or service
The best.
in the whole world.
But if nobody knows about
it
it,
doesn't matter.
right. It's like that question, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it.
Exactly.
So how do we make sure that our tree is making a sound?
All right, so the research breaks this down into two key areas, right?
Okay.
Defining your target audience, which we touched on a bit.
Right. But the market research.
Yes, exactly.
That's
But then also crafting a strong brand identity.
okay.
So with your target audience, this is where you tailor that marketing message.
Right.
So it resonates with those ideal customers, right? You got to speak their language,
Okay.
understand their pain points,
Yeah.
show them how your product solves their problems.
So it's about connecting with them on a deeper level.
Yeah, on an emotional level.
Okay. I like that.
Build that trust, right?
Right. Because people buy from people they trust.
Exactly. And that trust building, that's a huge part of branding, right?
Okay.
Your brand is more than just like a logo or a tagline.
Right.
It's the feeling that people have about your business.
Yeah. It's the story you're telling.
Exactly.
The values that you embody.
Yeah,
The
it's
experience you create for your customers.
precisely. And consistency here is key, right?
Okay.
So your brand should be reflected in everything you do,
Yeah.
your website,
Please from medias.
your customer service interactions, even your packaging.
So it's about creating this like cohesive brand experience
Yes, seamless.
across all those different touch points.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. Now, once you've got your target audience
Yes.
and you've crafted that compelling brand identity,
You've got-
it's time to choose the right marketing channels
Yeah.
to reach those people.
Right. Now this can get a little overwhelming
It can.
because there's so many options these days.
There are social media,
Email marketing.
content marketing, SEO.
Yeah, the list goes on and on.
It's a lot.
So the research offers some guidance here.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, align those channels with your audience's habits, right?
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Where are they spending their time online?
Yeah.
What are they reading?
What are they watching?
What are their pain points, and how can your marketing address those?
So it's about being strategic
Yes.
rather than just kind of throwing money at every shiny new platform that comes along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's about analyzing those results
Yeah.
and adjusting your strategy based on what's working, what's not working.
So it's a constant process.
It is. Marketing never sleeps.
All right. Now, before we wrap up this segment, there's one more crucial element for business success that I want to touch on,
Okay, let's hear it.
and that is customer focus.
Ah, yes.
The customer.
The lifeblood of any business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what does it actually mean to be customer focused, right?
Yeah.
Especially these days.
Yeah. What does that look like in practice?
So the research, it suggests we need to shift our thinking.
Okay.
We need to move from a transactional mindset
Okay.
to a relationship mindset.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Build those long-term relationships
Okay.
based on trust,
Yeah.
loyalty,
Okay.
and a genuine desire to exceed those expectations.
So it's not just about making a sale.
No,
It's about building something that lasts.
it's about seeing those customers as partners.
Oh, I like that partners in your success.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so where do we start?
It all starts with exceptional customer service.
Okay.
That means responding quickly.
Inquiries, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Resolving those issues.
Quickly and efficiently.
Yes. And going above and beyond.
So they feel valued,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Treat them like gold.
not like a number.
Not a transaction.
Right. Okay, so exceptional customer service.
Is the foundation of building those relationships.
It is. Create a culture of customer centricity that goes through every aspect of your business.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this second part.
We have.
We talked about leadership and management, the importance of effective marketing and branding, and the need for a customer-centric approach.
Yes!
We've gotten so many valuable insights from this book.
We have.
But we're not done yet.
Not quite.
There's one more critical piece to this puzzle,
There is.
and we will be exploring it
We will.
in the final part of our deep dive
Be tuned,
for
listener.
the grand finale. All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into why businesses fail.
Yes, we've made it.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has.
We've explored so much. We talked about market research, financial management, the importance of having a strong business plan, adapting to change, leadership, marketing, branding, putting your customers first.
It's a lot. It's a lot, right. But it's also important.
And we've really dissected this book, Why Businesses Fail, prevention strategies,
Yeah, pulled out all the good stuff.
to find those golden nuggets of wisdom, those actionable insights that could really help people.
Make or break a business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there's one final piece of the puzzle
Okay.
that we haven't talked about yet.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So, what is the last hurdle standing between our listeners and, achieving their business dreams?
Okay, so this one might seem simple, but it's something that so many businesses struggle with.
Okay.
Avoiding burnout.
Burnout. I can see why that would be a huge problem, especially because,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is often romanticized, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, oh, it's so glamorous and exciting.
Freedom and flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. But the reality is that it can be incredibly demanding, both mentally and physically.
Oh my gosh, yes. And the research talks about this, right?
Yes.
It really highlights the importance of taking care of yourself,
Okay.
maintaining that work-life balance, even when things are crazy busy.
When you're in the thick of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Ooh, that's so good. That's such a powerful metaphor.
It is, right?
So what are some practical tips from the research that our listeners can actually use and implement
To avoid burning out.
to avoid burning out? Yeah.
Okay, so the authors suggest setting realistic goals. For one,
Okay.
don't try to do it all at once.
Right.
Delegate effectively. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And schedule breaks.
Oh, breaks are so important.
So important, even if it's just 5 minutes.
Get up, move around, step away from the computer.
Exactly.
I feel like that's something people don't do enough.
They don't. They get so caught up in the hustle.
They do, yeah.
And then it's also about setting boundaries between work and life.
Which is so hard these days.
So hard.
Especially when you're working from home, the lines get really blurred.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So maybe designate specific work hours.
Okay.
If you can, have a dedicated workspace. And then make a conscious effort to disconnect when you're off the clock.
Don't check your email.
Exactly.
Don't answer those texts.
Yeah, be present.
Be present with your family, with yourself.
Yes. The research also talks about building a support system.
Okay.
So surround yourself with people who get it, who
Yeah.
understand the entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, they can offer that encouragement, that guidance.
And they can celebrate those wins with you.
Yeah, because it's a roller coaster, right?
It is. Entrepreneurship, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, I like that. Pace yourself.
Yes.
Celebrate those small wins.
Yes.
Take care of your mental health, your physical well-being.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there you have it, listener. We've explored 7 key reasons why businesses fail, but even more importantly,
How to avoid them.
we've given you the tools, the strategies to set yourself up for success.
You got this.
So to recap, we talked about market research, financial management, having a strong business plan, adapting to change, leadership, effective marketing and branding, that customer-centric approach, and avoiding burnout.
And we've had so much fun along the way,
You
right?
have. It's been such a great deep dive. Thank you for all your insights.
Of course.
So, what is our final takeaway? What is the one thing we want our listeners to remember from this whole conversation?
Okay, this is it. Success in business. It's not just about avoiding those mistakes. It's about embracing the journey.
Okay.
It's about learning, growing, adapting, always trying to get better. It's about building something meaningful, something that makes a difference.
That's a great point to end on. I love that. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive, listener.
Yes.
We hope you've learned a lot, and we hope you're feeling inspired.
We do.
Remember, the path to success is rarely a straight line, but with passion, resilience, and the right knowledge,
You can achieve anything.
you can achieve anything. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep thriving.
See you later.